before I thought that anyone would watch my videos, Asia Pacific just started being a large percentage of the views for me on YouTube. That was what excited me about, learning more about these languages, listening a lot to Chinese pop songs, listening to Indonesian pop music, because I'm like, well, a lot of my viewers are coming from Singapore and Indonesia and China and India. So I wanna be listening to the stuff that they're listening to, and I wanna know the videos that they're looking at, and I wanna try to learn the language too.
Hello, good morning from Singapore. Good evening if you're in the US. Good night if you're in Europe. Welcome to a new year. Welcome to VidCon Now Asia, and coming live from Singapore. VidCon Now launched in the USA in the summer last year, followed by the Asian series launch at the Singapore Media Festival in December with a power-packed half day of creators and companies. And we will be continuing on in this frame through 2021, where we'll be running live sessions every 2 weeks, focusing on VidCon's 3 core pillars: creators, platforms, and community. Over the next 20 episodes, we will be speaking to creators and companies who are making big noises in this part of the world, plus giving useful advice to creators and the companies wishing to succeed, either over here or from overseas. Up next, we're going to be talking to Hugo Schneider, one of the best known YouTubers of all time. In 2 weeks' time, we're going to be looking at China, with the world's largest population and one of the most thriving and competitive video markets around. We're always keen to hear feedback or ideas from you. So who would you like us to interview? What would you like us to talk about? You can easily find me at Jasper Donat on the World Wide Web. Now, also, if you are watching live, please feel free to pose questions, and we will try to ask as many as possible. On to our first VidCon Now Asia session of 2021. And this is all around the subject of breaking Asia. And we're going through the eyes, as I said, of one of the best known creators in the world. We are so lucky to have Kurt with us, with over 3 billion views and 13 million followers on his YouTube channel. Kurt Hugo Schneider is one of the world's most successful and longest running YouTube stars. We're going to be talking about building an online business and a fan base. We're talking about working with brands globally, but also how he's stayed and built, how he's built a community, a huge community in Asia, and stayed relevant to them as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, in VidCon land, in the World Wide Web, please say a huge VidCon Now Asia welcome to Kurt Hugo Schneider, live in LA.
What's up? Thank you for that intro.
Hey,
that was awesome.
Well, look, thank you so much for joining us. I'm a little bit, it's wonderful working. You're a little bit nervous always when I get to interview people like yourself. But let's really, for people out there, and we've got people tuning in from all over the world, let's go back to the start. Give us a quick intro, Kurt. I know we've got fans who know who you are, but who are you? What's your background, and really, where did it all start?
Totally. I mean, in sort of the whole social media world, it really started for me when I was in college and was getting my major in mathematics, of all things. Don't really use that much nowadays. But, I had a job working in the media center on campus. And basically I had access to, cameras and their nice microphones and all this cool stuff. And I wanted to learn how to use it. And I was really into music production and filming people and just trying to do crazy things. And YouTube was kind of blowing up at the time. And I was watching a lot of YouTube. And it was probably my junior year when I decided, I want to do that. I want to try to make some of those videos. And just kind of with some friends that I collaborated with, some awesome singers at my school, I just started putting up videos on the internet and, hoping someone other than my mom would watch them. And, that was really the beginning of it all. It took about that first year of doing videos. I think I built maybe like 2,000 or 3,000 followers, which which to me at the time I was really proud of. I mean, I didn't know 2 or 3 thousand people, and in a course of a year, just making content, built up that following online. And then by the time I graduated, there were enough people following where it kind of made sense for me to, put energy into this YouTube thing and see where it would lead me. And here I am now, however many years later.
You are known as a YouTuber, but you do work with lots of other platforms as well. What other platforms do you work with?
Totally. I mean, I try to, as a content creator, just be on as many platforms as I possibly can be. As a musician, Spotify has always been really important, along with Facebook and Instagram, and recently TikTok, and then also now even more recently, Bilibili, which is sort of like a Chinese YouTube. But I live stream on there several times a month and upload content to there as well. So I just try to, make content that will make people happy wherever people are watching content.
That's fantastic. Now we're going to come back to China and Bilibili and your presence there. I mean, that's the main context of the session. But still talking about you and the early days and or you as a musician. What's your creative strategy? Obviously, you're very well known for working with a lot of other artists. So yeah, take a little bit through the creative process that you go through.
Totally. I think probably primarily because I've always been more of a producer and I play a bunch of random instruments. But I don't really consider myself a singer, and I work with a ton of super talented singers. So I think it's natural as a producer to collaborate with artists and really great vocalists and singers. And yeah, I'm just lucky that I've had the ability to work with so many awesome people on YouTube. Probably like almost every video is some sort of collaboration with a singer or an artist that I'm featuring. And yeah, that's probably been the majority of the way I've worked now for 10 years, making tracks and working with awesome artists.
The 1 + 1 equals way more than 2, right? You're working, they're working with your audience, you're working with their audience, and everyone's sharing.
Totally. It's the big old internet, I mean, I just try to do as many things that people will like and people will see and that are fun to work on.
So how often are you posting content?
It depends on which platform, because I'm doing TikToks and I'm doing these live streams on Bilibili, and I'm also, of course, posting YouTube videos. So every week there's always things that I want to get done and things that I'm working on. How often am I posting a video on YouTube? I mean, certainly several times a month, but there's also silly little short videos for TikTok and videos that might only go on Chinese social media or other things. So pretty much all the time, I'm always trying to make something.
So what does a day in the life of Kurt Hugo Schneider look like?
Oh man, well, it's a lot of me sitting in this very room right here. And usually I'm just kind of facing that way at that computer, or maybe I'm messing around on my piano over there. But yeah, it's a little bit different than how it looks in the videos, because probably the normal day in the life is I come into this room and I just like sit here and work on something and just try to make something here that I think sounds good and fun. But then there's filming and working with people, and that's gets me out of this room, which is probably good for me too.
And then final question about you and the history of Kurt. Let's talk about the waistcoat. You're so well known for your waistcoat. We've actually presented people in Asia with Kurt waistcoats as awards. What's the story of the waistcoat? Is there a story in the waistcoat?
I just started wearing like vests one day, and I like the way it looks. And probably the reason why I really wear vests is because I always used to wear jeans and like a t-shirt. And when you just put this over a t-shirt and then your jeans and t-shirt, all of a sudden it's like, oh, now I can call it like style or something like that. So, so it allows me to basically still wear jeans and a t-shirt, but throw this on, and now it's like it's all good.
Did you ever create a merchandise line of sorry, I call them waistcoats. It's an English American thing. I call them waistcoats. Did you ever create Kurt
All good.
vests?
Kurt vests. I haven't created a Kurt vest, but I did sell T-shirts with this vest, this like sort of vest outline on them. So it's just a T-shirt, but it looks like you're wearing a vest. I actually have one.
Very cool.
I could have worn that.
So look, we're gonna we haven't seen any of your work yet. We're going to talk the rest of the session. Really, we're going to talk about your work that you do in Asia and how you've kind of built your presence and succeeded, and it really is quite remarkable. But let's show. I'm going to show the first video, and people will notice. Watch to the end and notice something that is absolutely fantastic. So we're going to play the OnePlus video first. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, OnePlus is a Chinese mobile phone brand. And this is an edited down version of a video that he created for the brand.
大家好，希望你们喜欢这支视频，是一个很有趣的挑战，用一加 AT 和他们的一加 Budsy 做音乐，而且记得音乐没有界限。
So Kurt, I have to say, firstly, that video is brilliant. Okay, the video is edited. It's a much longer video, and people can find it up on YouTube and stuff. But when my crew over here saw you at the end of that speaking in fluent Mandarin, it's not just fluent. Your intonation, maybe it's being it's fantastic. Tell us about learning Chinese, because this obviously leads a lot into succeeding in Asia. But when did you learn Mandarin?
I started picking up Chinese about 3 years ago, and I mean, I love languages. I love learning languages. It's just a hobby of mine nowadays, and I'm always kind of working on learning some language. Chinese, I'm not really so much actively working on right now, but all my live streams that I do on Bilibili every month, I'm using Mandarin for those live streams several times a month. So, I'm kind of always, I never want to like lose a language. If I've gotten to a level that I'm very happy with in a language, I never want to, lose too much. Because obviously if you don't use a language for a while, you get a little rusty, but it's still in your head somewhere. Typically I find that if I haven't used a language in several months, in like about a week of listening to videos and talking with people in that language, you get right back to where you were. It's sort of like, in some ways, like riding a bike. I mean, if it's in there somewhere, it's in there, But I don't know. Sorry. No. I was just I could go on for a while about languages, so feel free to cut me off. I mean, I think Chinese is a beautiful language, but it's a language that's particularly hard for a lot of Western speakers. If your native language is a Western language, like maybe English or Spanish or French or one of these Romance languages, you're probably going to find Chinese difficult. I found Chinese difficult. It's probably among the languages that I feel comfortable just, just talking with anyone in. It's certainly been the hardest for me. So yeah, I don't know.
It's a singing language, right?
It's a tonal language. Yeah. So which essentially means that based on how you say a syllable, the tone with which you say it changes the meaning, which to some degree exists in other languages. Like my example that I would give in English is like content versus like content. Like it's there are words that change their meaning based on how you say them in English, but it's totally different in Chinese. I mean, the tone is essentially just part of the syllable diversity in the language. And yeah, again, I could nerd out about on languages for a while. So yeah, I don't want to bore anyone who's not interested in learning languages.
we're gonna come back to China specifically, but before that, what other languages do you speak, or what other languages are you learning at the moment?
I feel pretty comfortable speaking Indonesian, and it was something that I picked up relatively recently, and I feel comfortable speaking in Spanish. I feel like I have a decent understanding of Malay simply because of its similarities to Indonesian. However, I don't really feel comfortable speaking Malay. I know that if I speak essentially in Indonesian, people will understand me, but and because of understanding the Indonesian language, just through that you can understand so much of Malay. But yeah, I don't know those, and there's others that I wouldn't feel comfortable speaking, or that I want to work on. But yeah, I don't know.
But you have created a lot of collab videos with Asian artists across multiple languages, right?
Totally.
What languages have you worked with? Which creators as well?
Totally. I've done several K-pop covers. I don't speak Korean, but hopefully, I don't know, in the future, I would love to take a year and try to nail down Korean as well. But yeah, what creators? A ton of creators. Megan Lee is an awesome singer. I've worked with on a lot of those K-pop covers I've done. I did a couple Japanese songs on my Bilibili channel. I did a couple songs in Hindi with some Indian artists when I was actually in India and had the opportunity to collaborate with some really great YouTubers over there. And yeah, I'm sure I'm forgetting some language in there too, but those are the ones that come to mind.
Have you done anything in Japanese?
I have on my YouTube, on my Bilibili channel. Yeah, I've done a couple songs in Japanese.
So you've done Japanese in China.
Yeah,
that's great. And look, I think this list does lead very nicely into Asia and the success that you've had in this part of the world. I mean, we get a lot of artists coming to us saying, "I want to go to China," and our first question is why? And they say there's 1.4 billion people, and we say, "Great. When was the last time you listened to a Chinese record?" And they say, "Never." And we say, "Okay, so maybe you need to get into the culture first." Is speaking the language, is that an answer? Is that your strategy, or is that just one part of a bigger picture?
I mean, it's definitely one part, but I actually think the language is a really important part. A language is certainly an important part of culture, but not only that, language is a tool. I mean, it's a tool for communication, and if you don't speak the language, then it can be a lot harder for you to connect with people you want to go and visit Indonesia. It's so much easier to just talk and experience the culture and enjoy yourself if you can speak Indonesian with people. It's great. I just enjoy being able to communicate with people in their native language. Also, I feel like it's kind of a sign of respect. You know, if you're going to go into China or Indonesia or anywhere else, it shows a level of dedication that you've spent however many hours and however much time to get to a certain level of proficiency in the language. It's just, I mean, obviously you can't put in, a couple days of work and be able to speak to someone in a foreign language that you've never studied. So it just, to me, it shows that you've put an effort into, just kind of experience their language and their culture. And yeah, and also for me, it's fun. I love it too.
You make it sound so easy. The idea of speaking to fans in their own language, but it's remarkable how many creators out there don't even think, and they're not being arrogant, right? They just don't think about it. They assume that English is the lingua franca, and therefore they can come to different parts of the world and people will understand them. Whereas you really have taken that step, and I know you say you're not fluent, but apparently, according to a lot of the team, you're fluent and you sound very good. But what aside from the languages, as a creator, as a creative, and as a business person as well, what's exciting you the most about Asia Pacific? And for those of you who don't necessarily know what Asia Pacific, that's India to China to Japan and all the way down to Australia and everything in between. So what's exciting about Asia Pacific?
Well, at first it was simply when I started uploading YouTube videos back in the day, before I thought that anyone, anywhere, Asia, Europe, down the hall in my dorm, but before I thought that anyone would watch my videos, Asia Pacific just started being a large percentage of the views for me on YouTube. So that was what excited me about, learning more about these languages, listening a lot to Chinese pop songs, listening to Indonesian pop music, because I'm like, well, a lot of my viewers are coming from Singapore and Indonesia and China and India. So I wanna be listening to the stuff that they're listening to, and I wanna know the videos that they're looking at, and I wanna try to learn the language too. So I mean, as far as what's exciting for me now, it's honestly every time I get to work on some project where there's good music involved and I'm working with talented people. Doesn't matter whether they're talented people in LA or in Indonesia or China or wherever, it's exciting for me. And man, I think I might have lost the thread on where I was going, but yeah, that's exciting.
That's good.
Yeah,
that was good. And it's also, look, I think it gives us a great opportunity to show some more of your work collaborating with artists in Indonesia. We recently, now I have to, for full transparency, we were involved in this production. We recently worked with you as musical director on a project in Indonesia for Music Matters, where you came in and you worked with a number of different Indonesian artists. We're going to show, again, a very edited down version of this. Please forgive the cuts in it, the edits in it. You didn't do this edit, Kurt. We did. But
no worries.
Let's run the Indonesian collab video, just again to show how you've been working with artists in Asia. So that's absolutely stunning. And as I say, full transparency, we were involved in introducing you to the artist, but the rest of it's all you. So take us through some of those creative, the challenges, the process you went through. Yeah, how did that all come together?
Totally. I mean, it's always a little bit of a challenge working long distance. For a lot of those, there was a song, or in the case of the collab with Weird Genius, a couple songs that were then mashed up. And typically, you know, I take a song, I make a track, I try to make something that sounds like something the artist is gonna love and really be excited about. Also, something that sounds different than the original. Now, I don't want to just remake what they've already made, and yeah, just make something new and unique with the artists. And then for those videos, they shot their stuff in Indonesia. I filmed in LA, and then I got all the footage to play with and make those fun edits for all the final videos that went up. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And you're also the international artists that you brought in. They were singing in Bahasa Indonesia as well, right? Is when you're actually recording that with them, is that easy? Is that tricky? Does it depend on the artist?
Yeah, it probably depends on the artist. I mean, I actually think that Indonesian is not a super difficult language for Westerners to pronounce, at least compared to other languages like Chinese. So it's not as hard as you might think. And the artists that I worked with on this, they have like great ears. Like Sam, for example, like Sam can hear a language and then he will reproduce the sounds, whether he speaks it or not. Like he just has a great ear for reproducing the sounds of words in other languages. And I don't know, maybe it's just being a singer or a musician, but I've actually found that it's not as hard as you would think recording and working with a singer in a language that they're not familiar with.
So we talked about China before, and you know, it's very hard to ignore China when you're talking about Asia. I mean, it's, you know, say 1.44 billion people. Do you see that the cultural fences are coming down with China and maybe even the rest of Asia as well, between the US, Europe, you know, English-speaking language territories? Are the cultural walls coming down?
I mean, I watch a lot of videos on Bilibili, and I watch a lot of videos on Chinese social media, and there's actually a lot of Western creators who are making videos on Bilibili. And you know, I started producing content on Chinese social media, and I'm nowhere close to the only one. You know, there's a lot of people who have bigger followings on YouTube who are making stuff in China. And you know, I recently did a project where I was able to collaborate with some Chinese artists on a video, working together on videos. So I haven't been on Bilibili for a while, but certainly from what I see now, I think there's actually quite a lot of collaboration.
And I know you have, I think, 1.4 million subscribers on Bilibili, but maybe a quick introduction to China through Kurt's eyes. What platforms do you work with? How are you engaging with your fans in China? And really, what's the difference between, you know, you mentioned Bilibili a few times, but what's the difference between a Chinese platform like that, or something like YouTube?
Well, for me, when I think about the difference in terms of content, language is a difference. So, you know, for example, on Bilibili, I live stream on Bilibili 3 times a month. And on those live streams, it's mostly all in Chinese, unless I have on a guest who doesn't speak Chinese, in which case I'll interact with the guest, who's often like, you know, some great singer that you know, I just have the pleasure of being able to play with. I'll interact with them in English. But So language, that's a difference. Um, Sometimes music, like it's interesting. The music that, if you look at the pop charts in India or in Indonesia or in China or in the US, and you just listen to, like, what's the sound of the top 40 in Indonesia? What is a top 40 song in Indonesia? What does that typically sound like? And you'll notice there's actually quite a bit of variety and diversity between what pop music sounds like in different areas. So, what pop music sounds like in China is a little bit different. The use of instruments is sometimes different. Um, there's different Chinese traditional instruments that might be used. There's different chord progressions that are actually popular in Chinese music. And yeah, man, now I think I almost forgot what the thread of the question was. But I guess in terms of differences, when I think about content, I mean, one, I try to use, if I know that something's going up on a Chinese platform, I try to use Chinese as much as possible. And I try to, no matter where I'm uploading something, I just try to make things that, will make people smile and that people will like. And just try to be positive and something fun.
And I think, you mentioned the live streaming on Bilibili. Live streaming is a much bigger kind of part of life in China than it is in somewhere like the US or Europe, right? I mean, you see these KOLs. For anyone, a KOL is a key opinion leader in China, which is a creator everywhere else. But you see the creators of the KOLs walking around, literally live streaming their whole lives, right?
Totally. Yeah, I think live streaming's a lot bigger in China than it is in the West, and I think live streaming is probably only growing. I mean, not only in China but also in the West. I mean, everywhere. I think live streaming's only on the way up right now. So, yeah, it's also fun. There really is no other activity where you quite get the direct response that you get in live streaming. I mean, except maybe like an actual live show, but where you just have the instant sort of response from fans and comments just flowing in. And it's fun on Bilibili. The comments actually like flow across the screen, so you can kind of like as you're monitoring your own live stream, the comments just kind of run across the screen for everyone. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
We've got a couple of questions that have come in from some of your fans that we're going to ask in a minute, but I was just talking about the Breaking Asia theme. Let's go the other way. What advice would you give if there's any creators here watching from Asia? What advice would you give them to reverse it? How did they succeed in a market like the US, North America, South America, Europe, outside of Asia?
Well, the first thing is to just start uploading everywhere. I mean, I think if just try to upload your content as many places as people are watching content. I mean, if people are watching content on platform A over here and platform B and platform C here, just upload your content to platforms A, B, and C. I mean, as far as, to be honest, I'm not even really sure how to, like, I don't know. Like, if someone had a large following in on some platform that, like, yeah, sorry for stumbling. I'm not actually sure. If someone wanted to break into YouTube nowadays, I guess. Well, one thing actually that I think before I even started making a lot of videos on, say, I keep bringing up Bilibili as an example, is just because I use it a lot nowadays, and so I'll just keep using it. Apologies for going to the same platform, but before I started producing stuff on there, I actually started just watching a lot of videos, and I just kind of enjoy watching videos and watching people's content. You want to start uploading videos on YouTube, and you want to grow a YouTube following. For starters, watch a lot of YouTube videos and, get a feel for what you like and what seems to be working on YouTube. You want to start uploading videos on TikTok, you start watching TikTok a little bit, and get a sense for, well, what's working on TikTok. So yeah, I guess that's what I'd say.
Okay, cool. So we've got a couple of questions from fans. First one from Shampa. Not sure where Shampa's coming in from, but how does your math background? So she's probably in the US. You need an S on the end of maths. How does your math background help you as a content creator?
Oh man, realistically, I'm probably not using much from that degree. I mean, maybe I guess I do try to maybe think about things analytically, and I'm kind of like I'm a nerd when it comes to the numbers for sure. But as far as anything I actually learned in like classes at university studying math, yeah, probably not much is being used, is the truth of it.
Okay, and then Mary is asking, is there any artist or musician you would like to collaborate with?
Oh man, there's like too many. So like, okay, I'm a huge fan of like Justin Timberlake and Ed Sheeran. I also, I would love to work with like JJ Lin or like Jay Chow. Oh man, there's too many, but I'm gonna stick with those four for right now.
Okay, you heard it here first. Ladies and gentlemen of VidCon World, you heard it here first. We are now going out to get Ed Sheeran, Justin Timberlake, JJ Lin, and Jay Chow into a Kurt Hugo Schneider patty cake video.
So ready.
Okay,
I'm so ready.
Let's come back into you and your career. I know that working with brands, advertisers, is very important to the creator community. And the way that you, I'm a huge fan of yours, especially when it comes to the way that you integrate brands into your videos. We're going to show an example here next. It's quite an old example, but it's still one of my favorites. And I talk about this a lot when we talk to other advertisers about how they should work with creators. So if we could show the HP video, please.
Guys, this is Kurt, and when we got to India, one of the first things we noticed was there's a ton of traffic, and when there's a ton of traffic, there's a lot of car honking. So I thought I would do something cool and take all those car honk sounds and try to make some music out of it. So we're going to try to make some Beethoven out of this. Let's do it. A bunch of car horns. I think we have what we need, so I'm gonna take these guys and try to work a little editing magic on this HP Pavilion right here, and let's see what we can do. Let's go. All right, I think we have this sounding pretty good, so let me play you what this sounds like. It's a little ridiculous. What's up, guys? This is Kurt, and that was some car horn Beethoven that I made with this super sweet HP Pavilion X360. Also flipped as the 360.
Oh man, that was a throwback right there.
That is a big throwback, but it's still again, what was really interesting about that is to take us through the creative process of how you worked with that brand to come up with that video. Did the brand get involved? I mean, behind the camera, was there like a whole agency team and clients standing there telling you what to do? What was the process, and what is your process? Yeah,
no, not really. In fact, it was very far from it. I've had the pleasure of working with HP now on a number of videos, and I try to show off the computer and as best as I can, but also I think a way of showing off the product is just doing something memorable with it and something a little bit different. And for me, it almost always involves music, of course. So yeah, just doing something different and memorable and something fun with that also just showcases the product.
And how important are brands in your life, in a creator's life? Are they how important do they? What part do they roll? What role do they play?
Totally got you. Yeah, I think brands play an important role for a lot of creators, and honestly, for a lot of us day to day. We're seeing brands all the time. I think for me, it's just always a ton of fun to just do something fun with a brand. Making music in weird ways. Trying to always I always try to make the brand kind of the hero of the video, if for lack of a better way of saying it. Essentially, I want the brand to be featured and showcased, but also, I just want it to always feel like something unique and original. So I don't, I think people are okay watching something that they know is an ad, as long as it's fun and it's content that they really want to see. It's just a really, really cool video. So that's what I try to do.
I think we also saw that with the OnePlus example as well, right? I mean, that was, you were using the mobile phone, and you actually were using the phones as content, right? It's relevant.
Totally.
And how important is that authenticity to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've done so many videos over so many years now that I feel like I definitely have a bit of my style. And whenever I work with a brand, I always try to fit into that. But at the same time, I want to show off the product in the best light. For the OnePlus, I'm really using the sounds on the OnePlus to make a track, and it's all coming together with a couple of phones, and the phones are there, and over half the video you're seeing a phone, and yet at the same time it doesn't feel like it's sellout or it's inauthentic, because it's totally something that I would just be excited about creating anyway. Let's try to make a whole track using sounds from a couple phones.
Question from Bill. What brands do you like working with? And any tips for how brands should work with you?
Oh man, what brands do I like working with? So many. There's way too many to name. I feel like my Coca-Cola and HP definitely come to mind, because I've done a number of campaigns with them. I've done a lot of stuff with Sony and Universal. As far as how I like to work with brands, however a brand wants to work, I always try to find a way to work with whoever I think is going to be, something where we're going to produce great content, and it's going to be fun. And it's going to be something that fits for me. How I love to work, though, is a brand says, here's our new product. We have this new, whether it's phone or app or this new candy or whatever it is, and maybe they give me something. Our brand is all about happiness, and we just want a positive image associated with whatever or whatever it is. And then I pitch back an idea, and I say, okay, cool, got it. How about we do this? When I worked with M&Ms, M&Ms basically said, we just want to do something with M&Ms. That was essentially the brief. And then I went back and pitched, okay, cool. How about I'm going to make this like contraption with all these like wooden dials, and each one will be like a chute for M&Ms of all different colors. And then, when these M&Ms go down this one, they'll hit this bass drum at the end. And when these M&Ms go down this one, they'll hit like a note on a xylophone. And actually, we'll have 5 that hit notes on xylophone. So you can kind of play the xylophone by triggering M&Ms to fall down here. And then this one, when M&Ms go down this path and they get to the end, they're going to hit a drum machine, and that's going to start this thing. And anyway, and then we're going to use all the M&Ms to basically play a song, just using M&Ms, triggering them to go down all these little M&M dials. And that's what we did. That's essentially what we did. But it's not like M&Ms came to me with that, with an idea of said, here's what we got to do. We got to make this wooden machine for M&Ms. So, I guess I love when a brand comes and says, here's the product. Here's what our brand is about. Here's any core messaging that we want to get across. And then it's my job as a creator to come back and pitch something that's going to work for the brand, and also, going to work for the audience that hopefully, I think people are going to like.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can, as you know, I can talk to you forever about brands and relationships with creators. I would also encourage anyone watching this to look into Kurt's channel. There's a brilliant video he makes with Coca-Cola where he's using the bottles as a live xylophone. and it's absolutely sensational, and it's relevant, and it's authentic, and it's really beautifully shot as well. So look for that. So look, there's lots of other questions coming, but we are kind of running short on time. I want to talk a little bit about Kurt and the future. But before that, we've had a question from someone called Yummy Fung. What advice would you give to people who are starting out with their creative careers, whether it's in anywhere in the world? What advice do you give any new creators?
Well, first thing is just do it. So don't wait to be ready to do something. I didn't wait to feel like I was ready to produce a YouTube video. I just grabbed the nearest camera that I had available to me, which I at the time I was able to get one from my school that I could use for a few days, and I used that to make a video. So one, don't wait till you're ready. Two, I would say find something you love, because I mean, of course, it always could happen that you just like strike gold on your first video and it's a huge success. But if you're like me, or like probably 99% or much more than that of people who are making videos, then it's going to be a journey, and it's going to be a long road probably before you find a video that you might even call a huge success. So I would say do something you love, because if you don't, you'll get burned out along the way, and you probably won't stick with it. And third of all, just I don't know, three's a round number. Let's just go with three things. Third of all is, I would say, appreciate the little victories. It's always easy to compare yourself to when I was starting out, and none of my videos got anywhere close to 1 million views or anything like that. It's really easy to compare yourself to the things that are most visible that you see out there on, whether it's YouTube or wherever it is. But you make a video that you're proud of, and someone writes a good comment, cherish the little victories, because I don't know, the whole journey is just a journey of little victories along the way. So enjoy it.
Fantastic answer. So okay, final question for you, Kurt, which is actually two questions. But what's next for Kurt Hugo Schneider, and really what's exciting you the most about 2021?
Oh man, what's next? Well, I'm lucky to love what I do. So what's next is a lot of the same of what I love. Making silly videos on TikTok, doing live streams on Bilibili, making videos on YouTube, and hopefully collaborating with a lot of super talented and amazing artists. So there's that. What am I most looking forward to? I hope that 2021 is a better year than 2020 was for many people, and I just hope to make things that make people smile, and I hope to be able to at some time soon go travel and see people in person smiling too. So just
Mary has asked if there's any Asian tours in the pipeline. I know you couldn't really answer that, but hopefully we will see you in Asia sometime soon, because it's brilliant working with you. It's brilliant seeing you when you're live on stage. Kurt, I could talk to you forever. We've run 8 minutes over time, which means I'm going to probably get into a lot of trouble, but it's been absolutely wonderful, going all the way back to the beginning of your career and talking about how you really have this long road that you've gone ahead, and you said it yourself, it is a long road, and how you've talked about being relevant. I mean, the languages that you've learned are amazing. How to become relevant in China or in Asia, speak the languages, be authentic. Authenticity is so important to you. We talked about creativity. We talked about constant. You got to stay uploading. You got to be in people's faces the whole time. We talked about, I can't read my notes here. but yeah, I think of the three things that you mentioned, do what you love, and just keep going. And with that, Kurt, I'm going to say thank you so much for joining us on VidCon Now Asia, the first of 2021. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I hope I have a more specific answer on that when my tour in Asia at some point. I hope I have a more specific answer for that soon. Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be there in the front row. We'll be there in the front row, Kurt. So that's it. Now there's loads more shows on the VidCon Now platform being produced all the time from all over the world. So do stay logged in to find out what's coming up next. Up next from Asia in 2 weeks on February the 4th, we're looking even deeper into China, what the platforms are, who the creators are, and how people are really building successful businesses. But once again, thank you so much for Hugo Schneider for joining us. VidCon Now Asia 2021.